In the history of Hollywood, there are stars remembered not only for the glamour they brought to the screen, but also for their inner strength and the way they faced silent struggles. Jennifer Aniston is one of them. Mention her name, and audiences immediately think of Rachel Green from Friends, a character that became a cultural icon, a piece of youth for millions across the globe. With her warm smile, captivating blue eyes, and effortless charm, Aniston proved herself to be more than just a successful television actress. She became the face of an entire generation. Yet behind that grace and seemingly perfect beauty lies a fractured childhood, emotional scars from a broken family, and the wounds of unfulfilled relationships. She endured high-profile marriages that ended under the unforgiving glare of the media, while also becoming the subject of endless speculation about her not having children. Then, at 50, Aniston courageously revealed her long and painful battle with IVF, a quiet war of hopes raised and hopes shattered. But instead of letting those losses define her, Jennifer chose to transform them into strength, moving forward with optimism and an open heart. Today, at 56, Aniston still shines brightly, not only on screen, but in everyday life. She is living proof that true beauty is not found solely in appearance, but radiates from resilience, kindness, and the courage to rise after every fall. So what helped Jennifer Aniston weather those storms to become one of the most inspiring women in Hollywood? And you, if faced with the same pain and trials she endured, would you be able to find your own light? Let us take a deeper look into the turbulent yet brilliant journey of Jennifer Aniston's life. Share your thoughts below. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue exploring more stories that inspire. Jennifer Aniston's childhood in Sherman Oaks, California, seemed destined to be wrapped in the love of an artistic family. Her father, John Aniston, was a well-known soap actor on Days of Our Lives, while her mother, Nancy Dow, had also pursued acting. But behind that glittering surface were cracks that grew deeper with time. When Jennifer was only 9, her parents divorced. The separation left an emptiness in her young heart that could never truly be filled. She later admitted that she often felt abandoned, as though the foundation beneath her had been pulled away. After her father left, Jennifer lived with her mother, but instead of finding comfort, she grew up under a harsh, critical gaze. Nancy Dow, a beautiful woman with rigid standards of appearance, often criticized her daughter's weight, looks, and even her smile. Those comments, repeated year after year, planted seeds of insecurity, making Jennifer feel she was never pretty enough, never perfect enough. It was the root of a self-doubt she would wrestle with even at the height of her fame. As she grew older, the distance between mother and daughter widened. The breaking point came in 1999 when Nancy Dow published a memoir titled From Mother and Daughter to Friends. In it, she revealed private details about their strained relationship. For Jennifer, it was not only betrayal, but also a profound emotional wound. With the world now reading her mother's words, she felt exposed, as though the last shred of privacy she had was stripped away. She stopped speaking to her mother for years after that. It was during these years that Jennifer truly understood loneliness, not the loneliness of an empty room, but the loneliness that comes even when someone is sitting right beside you. The feeling of being unseen, unloved in the way she needed, pushed her inward, hiding pain behind her smile. Yet out of that darkness, she began searching for a way out, a path to prove her worth beyond her mother's harsh judgments. Acting became her lifeline. Even in school, Jennifer found joy in drama classes, where she could express herself freely without fear of ridicule or criticism. The stage became her sanctuary, the only place where she felt safe, where she could be anyone she wanted without being bound by the beauty standards her mother imposed. Under the spotlight, she was no longer the insecure girl weighed down by doubt. She became powerful, confident, and heard. But even after finding her passion, the wounds of childhood didn't simply fade away. Jennifer once admitted that, for years, she struggled with a constant feeling of not being good enough, a shadow born from her mother's criticisms and her father's silence. That feeling not only made it difficult for her to trust herself, but also made it hard to fully trust others. And perhaps it was that very mix of loneliness, insecurity, and longing for love that shaped the Jennifer Aniston audiences would one day come to adore, a woman who is genuine and vulnerable, yet remarkably resilient. What she endured in Sherman Oaks didn't just mold her character, it laid the foundation for her to embody Rachel Green, a character also caught in the struggle of self-doubt, in the search for self-worth. Jennifer's childhood was both heartbreaking and awakening. It taught her that family isn't always a sanctuary, that sometimes the harshest blows come from those closest to us. Yet from those fractures, she discovered the light of art, a path that would lead her to Hollywood's heights, and also a path that would help her heal herself. That painful childhood left Jennifer with a yearning to find a place where her true voice could be heard, and she found it in art. While attending Waldorf School, Jennifer first stepped onto a stage, transforming into characters she never dared to show in real life. It was there she discovered that acting wasn't just a subject to study, it was a doorway to freedom. On stage, she could cry, laugh, and release years of pent-up emotions without fear of judgment. That passion only grew stronger, pushing her to pursue acting seriously. Jennifer was accepted into the prestigious LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts in New York, a school that had nurtured countless talents in film and theater. There, she was rigorously trained, learning to control her voice, refine her movements, and most importantly, to believe in her own worth. For Jennifer, the stage became a place of healing, a place where she was no longer the girl criticized for her looks, but a young artist burning with ambition. But the road from dreams to reality was never easy. After graduation, Jennifer moved to Los Angeles, the city of opportunity, but also a place that tests the will of anyone chasing fame. At first, instead of film offers, she had to scrape by with odd jobs to survive, waiting tables, working as a receptionist, even selling products in shops. She did whatever it took to pay the rent, all while holding on to the hope that one day her name would be called for a major role. During that time, Jennifer landed a few small roles in TV shows and low-budget films, but instead of being stepping stones, they often left her disappointed. Leprechaun 1993, a low-budget horror film, was even branded a cinematic disaster, and Jennifer admitted she once felt ashamed of it. People around her began to doubt whether she truly had what it took to survive in the ruthless world of Hollywood. More than once, Jennifer thought about giving up. Failed auditions piled up, leaving her drained and disheartened. She later confessed that at times she felt invisible, as though all her efforts went unseen. Yet deep down, she held onto a small flame. She remembered the freedom she felt on stage in high school, the pure joy of stepping into another life. That memory became her driving force, keeping her going even when the path ahead seemed hopelessly unclear. And then fate finally smiled. After years of disappointments, Jennifer was invited to audition for a new NBC sitcom, a series about 6 young friends living in New York. When she read the script, she immediately felt a connection to Rachel Green, a woman who had just left her comfort zone, stumbling through life with equal parts charm and insecurity, longing to prove it herself. It felt like Jennifer was reading her own story, but the role didn't fall into her lap easily. Before Friends, Jennifer had starred in several other sitcoms, each one canceled after a season, or sometimes just a handful of episodes. People in the industry began to call her the queen of failed TV shows. Ironically, that cruel label nearly crushed her confidence. But in the end, it only made her more determined. When Jennifer walked into the audition room for Friends, she carried with her nothing but authenticity. No pretense, no embellishment, and it was that very authenticity that won over the producers. In Jennifer, they saw not just an actress, but the beating heart of Rachel Green. For the dazzling light of Friends changed everything. Jennifer Aniston had endured years that felt lost, years mired in failure and self-doubt. Yet it was precisely those difficult years that forged her patience, resilience, and the ability to rise every time she stumbled. Perhaps without those nights waiting tables, those humiliating roles, and the countless moments when she almost gave up, Jennifer would never have become the symbol of strength that the world now admires. And that is what makes Jennifer's story so remarkable. She is not merely a star, but living proof that even in our darkest days, if we refuse to surrender, the light at the end of the tunnel is still waiting. When Friends finally premiered in 1994, the world seemed to change overnight. And at the very center of that change was Jennifer Aniston as Rachel Green. Rachel, the witty, sweet, but slightly clumsy runaway bride searching for freedom, instantly became a role model for millions of young women. She wasn't perfect, but it was that very imperfection that made her feel so real, so relatable, and so full of life. Jennifer, with her radiant smile and the now iconic hairstyle dubbed the Rachel, suddenly became a global sensation. Every magazine wanted her on its cover. Women everywhere flocked to salons, desperate to copy Rachel's haircut. And for Jennifer, once branded the queen of failed sitcoms, this was her transformation into one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Yet with that glare of fame came crushing pressure. The runaway success of Friends blurred the line between Jennifer Aniston and Rachel Green. The public adored Rachel, and they began to expect Jennifer herself to be just as charming, funny, and flawless as the character she played. That expectation created an invisible glass cage, one that often left Jennifer feeling suffocated. It didn't stop at the screen. The media began dissecting every detail of her private life, what she wore, who she dated, whether she had gained or lost weight. The relentless demand for her to remain the perfect goddess in the public eye drove Jennifer into fierce internal battles. She once admitted that there was a time when she no longer knew who I was, apart from the name Rachel Green. Still, Jennifer refused to let the pressure consume her. Instead, she poured her energy into evolving Rachel with each passing season. From a naive, slightly spoiled young woman, Rachel gradually grew into a stronger, more independent figure in both her career and her love life. And that evolution mirrored Jennifer's own real-life journey, her fight to be recognized not just for her looks, but for her depth, her artistry, and her humanity. That effort was rewarded. In 2002, Jennifer Aniston won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series for her role as Rachel Green. The following year, she went on to win a Golden Globe. These prestigious honors didn't just cement her place as a star, they were proof that beneath the radiant beauty was an actress of substance, capable of transformation and nuance. But success came with a paradox. The more famous Jennifer became, the harder it was to escape Rachel's enormous shadow. Each time she ventured into a new film role, the question loomed, can she really break free from Rachel? That skeptical gaze meant Jennifer had to work twice as hard. In one interview, she confessed, Rachel gave me everything, but she also took a lot away. I love that character. But there are times I wish people could see me as Jennifer, not just Rachel. It was a constant stewarding, but also the driving force that pushed her to keep searching, experimenting, and redefining herself as an actress. And yet, no matter how heavy the pressure, Jennifer Aniston has never denied her love for Friends. That show wasn't just the launchpad that catapulted her to stardom, it was also where she built a second family with her fellow castmates, bonded like brothers and sisters. For 10 years, they laughed together, cried together, and left an indelible mark on popular culture. When Friends came to an end in 2004, Jennifer was no longer simply a TV star. She had become a global icon, but behind the dazzling spotlight was a woman still learning to balance fame with her own sense of self. A woman deeply grateful to Rachel, yet constantly searching for her own path, determined to prove she was more than just the girl next door the world had grown so familiar with. Rachel Green was, in many ways, both a miracle and the greatest challenge of Jennifer Aniston's career. She transformed a fictional character into a living, breathing cultural symbol, while at the same time using the role as a canvas to tell a larger story about growth, not just Rachel's, but her own. From a young woman lost in her early struggles, Jennifer grew into someone who learned to embrace and shine with her true self. When Friends ended, many doubted, could Jennifer Aniston ever escape the enormous shadow of Rachel Green? Would she forever remain the sitcom beauty? Or could she prove herself as a versatile, serious actress? Jennifer felt that weight too, but instead of letting it crush her, she used it as fuel to redefine her career. The first turning point came with The Good Girl, 2002. Even while Friends was still on air, here, Jennifer took the bold risk of stepping away from her sunny image to play a disillusioned retail worker, trapped in a loveless marriage and yearning to break free. Audiences were stunned. Gone was the glossy hair and radiant smile, replaced by a weary, almost bleak appearance. Critics praised her raw, stripped-back performance. Jennifer had proven she was not just Rachel Green. She had opened the door to true recognition as a film actress. At the same time, Jennifer understood that versatility was the key to longevity. She wasn't afraid to embrace commercial projects, like Bruce Almighty, 2003, where she starred opposite Jim Carrey. The film became a box office smash, showing that Jennifer could win over mainstream audiences beyond sitcoms. Then came Marley and Me, 2008, a heartfelt family story that moved millions to tears. Jennifer's portrayal of a wife and mother, honest, tender, and deeply relatable, reminded audiences of her authenticity and emotional depth. She didn't stop at heartfelt roles. Jennifer also challenged herself in darker comedy and satire. In Horrible Bosses, 2011, she shocked fans by completely reinventing herself, playing a provocative, wildly inappropriate dentist in a role that gleefully broke taboos. Audiences saw that Jennifer was fearless, willing to poke fun at her own image, and brave enough to embrace outrageous humor. The film's success proved, once again, that versatility was her strongest weapon. Then came We're the Millers, 2013, where Jennifer cemented her box office power, playing a stripper posing as a suburban perfect mom to disguise a smuggling scheme. She was both hilarious and endearing, balancing sharp comedy with real warmth. The film grossed over $270 million worldwide, a testament to Jennifer's enduring pull with audiences. But perhaps her most significant post-Friends achievement has been The Morning Show, 2019 present. This wasn't just another role, it was a career rebirth. As Alex Levy, a seasoned TV anchor grappling with scandal, betrayal, and profound questions of power, truth, and feminism, Jennifer delivered a performance worlds apart from Rachel Green, complex, layered, and unflinchingly raw. Alex gave Jennifer the chance to show her full range. Her work on The Morning Show earned her the 2020 SAG Award for Outstanding Performance by a female actor in a drama series, along with widespread recognition that Jennifer Aniston is not just a box office draw, but one of the finest dramatic actresses of her generation. Through Alex, she also found a voice for the very struggles she had lived: society's relentless expectations of women, the suffocating demand for perfection, and the fight to be respected in an industry riddled with bias. From The Good Girl to The Morning Show, Jennifer Aniston's post-Friends journey is living proof of resilience and reinvention. She refused to let the world confine her to one character or one image. Every project, every role was a deliberate yet daring choice, a step towards breaking molds and affirming this truth. Jennifer Aniston is a multifaceted artist, endlessly evolving. More importantly, Jennifer hasn't just broken barriers in her career. She's also challenged the way the public views women, showing that they don't need to conform to any fixed standard in order to be valued. Through her work, through the wide range of characters she's played, Jennifer Aniston has been telling a story that a woman can stumble, can suffer, and still rise again, reinvent herself, and shine entirely on her own terms. There are love stories that the public instantly associates with the word fairy tale. And for millions of fans around the world, Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt's marriage was exactly that. They met in the late 1990s, when both were at the very height of their fame. Jennifer, fresh off the phenomenal success of Friends, had become America's beloved Rachel Green, while Brad Pitt was hailed as Hollywood's golden prince, handsome, talented, and irresistibly charismatic. Whenever they walked a red carpet hand in hand, it seemed as though every camera lens in the world was trained on them. In July 2000, Jennifer and Brad tied the knot in a lavish Malibu ceremony, surrounded by close friends and Hollywood's elite. Fireworks lit up the night sky, as if to declare that this was to be one of the industry's most powerful picture-perfect unions. Fans dubbed them Hollywood's golden couple, a symbol of love and romance. Jennifer often spoke of feeling cherished, protected, and certain that she had found her true life partner. But, as with many fairy tales, the glittering surface couldn't quite hide the cracks underneath. When Bride began filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie in 2004, rumors began to swirl. The tabloids spun stories of stolen glances and undeniable chemistry. And then, in 2005, Jennifer and Brad announced their separation. The moment landed like a global shockwave. Overnight, the media built a dramatic love triangle. Brad, Angelina, Jennifer. Headlines screamed. Gossip sites dissected every detail. And Jennifer's private heartbreak was turned into public spectacle. She was cast as the woman scorned, while Angelina was painted as the alluring other woman. Brad inevitably became the center of the storm. For Jennifer, it wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the experience of a deeply personal loss unraveling in front of the entire world. She later admitted to feeling exposed, like there was nowhere to hide. The press relentlessly probed her pain, speculating on Brad's new relationship, interrogating her about motherhood, a subject already fraught with pressure. The public began asking cruel, loaded questions. Did Brad leave because Jennifer didn't want children? That insinuation, repeated endlessly, cut like a knife, turning the collapse of a relationship into a harsh indictment of her worth as a woman. Yet Jennifer refused to let others define her life, even with a broken heart. She chose resilience. Rather than drown in bitterness, Jennifer embraced grace and dignity. She spoke about the divorce with respect for Brad, never once disparaging him in the press. In one interview, she said plainly, "We did love each other, but sometimes, love just isn't enough to hold things together." It was a simple line, but powerful, the voice of a woman who had learned that love, no matter how beautiful, can also unravel. And more importantly, that her existence did not and would never depend on any man. After the split, Jennifer entered a challenging chapter. She had to learn how to walk alone amid relentless rumors, to heal her heart while the world constantly reminded her of what she'd lost. But in that darkness, she discovered a new kind of light, the light of freedom. She poured herself into her friendships, her work, and most of all, into herself. Friends of Jennifer have shared that, rather than wallowing in resentment, she chose to turn her pain into motivation. She threw herself into work, sought out new roles, and gradually proved to the world that Jennifer Aniston was not defined solely by her marriage to Brad Pitt. Looking back, that broken marriage became an essential lesson in Jennifer's journey toward maturity. It taught her the value of herself, and that no one but she could decide her own happiness. It also made her a symbol for millions of women who have endured heartbreak and felt judged by the world. Jennifer showed that you can stumble, but you can rise again, stronger and brighter than before. Today, and when she reflects on that period, there is no trace of sadness in her eyes, no quiver in her voice. Instead, there is peace. She says, "I'm not angry anymore. Life has its own path. Everything happens so we can learn something from it." And that is the real strength of Jennifer Aniston, turning pain into wisdom, turning loss into a foundation for building a new life. She not only survived one of Hollywood's most publicized divorces, but she emerged from it as a resilient woman, unafraid to love, to lose, and to start over. After her divorce from Brad Pitt, many assumed Jennifer would be more cautious in love. Yet she remained open-hearted, believing happiness could smile upon her once more. In 2008, she embarked on a relationship that also drew intense media attention with singer John Mayer. At the time, John Mayer was a talented, charismatic artist known as much for his charm as for his reputation as a heartbreaker. Jennifer and John quickly became the focus of public fascination. They appeared hand-in-hand at events, strolled along Malibu beaches, creating a picture-perfect romance that made fans believe Jennifer had found joy once again. But behind the glamour, there remained an unbridgeable distance, John was young, his career on the rise, and he admitted he wasn't ready for a serious relationship. Their love was brief, leaving Jennifer with another sting of disappointment. And heartbreakingly, the end unfolded once again under the scrutinizing gaze of the world. Still, Jennifer refused to let herself shatter. She drew a lesson from the experience. Lasting love must rest on a solid foundation and mutual maturity. Without those, passion and romance alone are not enough to endure. In 2011, a new chapter opened when she met Justin Theroux on the set of Wanderlust. Justin, a writer and actor with a sharp, enigmatic charm, quickly won Jennifer's heart. Their love was quiet and deliberate, like a warm flame in the heart of a woman who had endured too much loss. In 2015, Jennifer and Justin held a private wedding in Bel Air, surrounded by close friends. It was a moment of pure happiness, a time when fans saw Jennifer finally smiling brightly in a wedding gown after years of speculation about her love life. With Justin, she believed she had found a steady harbor. Yet, as in the past, the marriage did not last. Just 2 years later, in 2017, they announced their separation. The reason was not betrayal or scandal this time, but simply the distance between their lives. Jennifer loved Los Angeles, her friends, her work, and the rhythm of the city she knew, while Justin was deeply rooted in New York. Though they loved each other, they could not reconcile the differences in lifestyle and future plans. If her marriage to Brad Pitt brought the public pain of betrayal, then her union with Justin was a quiet, calm departure, yet no less poignant. She learned that sometimes love doesn't fail because of a lack of affection, but because there is not enough harmony to journey together over the long term. What is truly admirable is that through it all, Jennifer has maintained her kindness and respect for those who have passed through her life. She has never spoken ill of Brad, John, or Justin in the media. Instead, Jennifer chooses to focus on the beautiful memories, on what love has given her, rather than dwelling solely on loss. And most importantly, each time love slipped away, Jennifer learned more about herself. She realized that happiness cannot be found only in a relationship. It must begin with self-love. She once said, "I learned that you cannot define your worth by whether or not you have a man by your side. I am complete, even on my own." In adulthood, Jennifer Aniston has become a symbol of resilience. She inspires millions of women, showing that you can love, you can fail, you can endure heartbreak. But the most important thing is that, after it all, you rise again, love yourself, and continue to shine. True love, she demonstrates, must first come from one's own heart. And Jennifer has found that light, not in a man, but in the peace and pride of owning her own life. For many years, alongside her dazzling successes on screen, Jennifer carried an invisible yet heavy burden: questions about motherhood. The media constantly circled her with speculation. Is she pregnant yet? Why doesn't she have children? Is Jennifer selfish, only caring about her career? The societal expectation that a woman is only complete as a mother became an enormous weight for her, one that no one but Jennifer could fully feel. Few knew that, in her quiet strength, Jennifer embarked on the journey of IVF, in vitro fertilization. She tried every method, endured grueling treatments, clung to fragile hopes that repeatedly shattered. Hormone injections, checkups, monthly hopes dashed into disappointment. It drained her physically and emotionally, and heartbreakingly. This entire journey unfolded under the harsh glare of rumor and merciless media scrutiny. She never spoke publicly during those years, as the pain was too private, too deep. But over time, Jennifer realized that silence only strengthened the stereotypes. In 2016, she surprised the world with an essay titled "For the Record" on Huffington Post. There, she boldly declared, "I am so tired of being defined solely by my ability to have children. I am no less complete, no less happy, for not having kids. I am a full and whole woman, even without being a mother." It was a powerful declaration, not just for Jennifer, but for millions of women who have been questioned, judged, or shamed simply because of their choice or circumstance regarding motherhood. By 2022, in an interview with Allure magazine, Jennifer publicly shared her unsuccessful IVF journey for the first time. Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes shone with courage as she said, "I tried. I did everything I could. And today, I can say that without feeling ashamed or letting it define me." In that moment, people didn't just see Jennifer Aniston, the radiant Hollywood star. They saw a woman exposed to pain, yet empowered through acceptance. She does not deny that she once longed to be a mother, but she refuses to let that perceived incompleteness define her worth. For Jennifer, happiness does not come from fulfilling society's checklist. Husband, children, a perfect home. Happiness, simply put, is the freedom to live authentically, to have a career to be proud of, enduring friendships, and the ability to wake up each day feeling peace in one's soul through honesty and courage. Jennifer Aniston has turned her own painful story into inspiration for women worldwide. She has shown that sometimes acceptance itself is a victory over prejudice, over fear, and above all, over oneself. After years of turbulence and living in the media storm, Jennifer Aniston has finally found the peace she long sought. In her elegant Bel Air villa and sun-drenched Montecito home, she does not chase Hollywood glamour, but chooses a simple, serene, and love-filled life. Each morning, instead of hectic press events, she begins her day with yoga and meditation, letting her body and mind rest after years of turmoil. In that home, laughter does not come from red carpets, but from everyday moments, playing with her dogs, sharing warm dinners with close friends, or simply sitting on the porch watching the sunset over lush green trees. For Jennifer, this is true happiness, small moments that nourish the soul. Her friends, from Courtney Cox and Reese Witherspoon to familiar faces outside the entertainment world, remain a steadfast support. Together, they have created a chosen family, one not bound by blood, but rich in love and trust. And in this new chapter, Jennifer's heart has opened once more. Recent rumors about her relationship with Jim Curtis, a calm, mature man who brings her a sense of security, have brought smiles to her fans, with no pressure to prove anything. Jennifer approaches this relationship with maturity and ease, like a woman who has weathered storms and now cherishes the warmth of peaceful days. At 56, Jennifer Aniston is not only a silver screen icon, but a living testament that happiness is sometimes not in grand achievements, but in inner peace, enduring friendships, sincere love, and the small, priceless moments of life. From a young girl who carried the pain of a broken family and wounds of insecurity, Jennifer Aniston has risen to become one of Hollywood's most resilient icons. She captivates audiences not only with her talent and charm, but with her authenticity, determination, and her own definition of happiness. At 56, Jennifer is no longer just Rachel Green in the memory of millions. She is living proof that you can overcome trauma, reclaim your voice, and shine through your true self. And now I want to ask you, what is your story of strength, resilience, and happiness? Share it in the comments. Your journey might just inspire someone else.